What's up, everybody, and welcome to Podcasting with Power, your Nintendo podcast featuring yours truly, Zachary Davis. That's Jordan Carlson over there. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am pretty good. We're almost upon the holidays here.
Oh, man.
Some rest and relaxation, so I'm excited for that.
Yes.
I assume you are as well.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had the chance to play anything cool this week?
I've been bopping around a lot.
Okay,
Quite a bit.
lot of bopping. Okay.
A lot of bopping, yes.
Tell us about the bop.
I picked up Octopath Traveler 0.
Okay.
Very cool.
Very cool. I have the demo. I haven't played it yet, but it's on there.
So pretty stoked on that. I did not go with the Switch version.
Oh my God.
I know.
What are you playing it on?
And honestly, I'm really bummed about it because I want it portably so bad, especially, to have it in bed before I fall asleep, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But dude, after reviewing, the specs.
Okay.
I had to go Xbox, but when I say Xbox, I mean PC and console.
Sure. It's one of those play anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad boys, that's cool.
So that was kind of what moved me in that direction. Is now I can play it on my PC where I like to be, but I can also hang out on the couch and play it over there, and not a big deal.
Okay.
So I went with it that way, and so far so good. Really enjoying it. Very cool. And then outside of that, just a lot of N64, which has been so fun.
And your shiny new analog 3D.
Yes, sir. Shiny new analog 3D. I think it's pretty sweet.
What any particular standout titles?
Nothing. I've kind of intentionally not got sucked in anything too bad, but I've just been popping in some of those ones we'll mention sometimes, like Snowboard Kids and those quick titles. There's actually a ROM hack that I've been really enjoying. It's a Mario Kart 64 ROM hack called Poke Kart, and it's Pokemon Mario Kart.
Cool.
But yeah, so I've been dabbling around quite a bit this week, but it's been a lot of fun.
Good. We like to hear that.
Yeah.
I have one thing that I'm going to save for a little bit to talk about. Ooh. But I will talk a little bit more about the Pokemon Legend Zelda Mega Dimension DLC.
Oh, yeah.
And how I don't really like it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I played a little more of it, not a ton. But it's really grindy, and it's not fun. I assume as you go on, you'll be able to stay in the Lumiose dimension, whatever, hyperspace Lumiose a little longer. But right now it's I'm in there for under 3 minutes at a time. And so it's trying to rush around with the ranked battles, the ranked zones, but it's even more of a time constraint.
Okay.
And, they have specific challenges in there, and that's kind of the only way to progress. So it's go, catch 3 different kinds of Pokemon, and I'm running around and I can't find one. I have 2 out of the 3, but I can't find the other one. I'm panicking and freaking out. And it's I don't know. Maybe I'll try a little more, but I don't really have a ton of interest in it right now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, not my favorite experience.
I hate that. I hate that a lot.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, that base game is great. I cannot recommend that game enough, but unless you are, one of these that have put 100 hours into it already, this maybe isn't for you. Because if you've done that, you're going to like this. This grind. But I am not that person. But we actually have a lot to talk about today. So I'm going to take us right to housekeeping, and then we'll get into the news.
Sounds hot. Let's go.
All right. Podcasting with Power is an independent podcast made by the two of us, and your support goes a long way. You can watch PWP on YouTube and Spotify, or listen on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Wherever you are, we'd really appreciate if you would follow, comment on, or review the show. You can also keep up with us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and more at Pod with Power. We post show updates, clips, and anything else we think you might find interesting. So check that out and help support the show. Jordan, I have 6 Nintendo news stories for you this week.
Wow.
Some doozies.
There are some doozies.
You ready for some doozies?
I'm ready for doozies. Take me into them. Yep.
Story number 1. the Game Awards 2025 winners and announcements. I wrote the wrong year. Some of the key winners we can talk about here. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go through every award because a lot of these games have nothing to do with Nintendo or the Switch, but the ones that are relevant to us on this show, the best family game went to Donkey Kong Bonanza. You'll love to see it. Best action game, Hades 2. Best ongoing game, No Man's Sky, which I have never really given any time of day. It's been around now for a decade. It apparently has a great Switch 2 version.
Did you play initially?
No, I've never played No Man's Sky.
Oh, okay. Because initially it was not good.
I remember. But it seems like it's come a very long way.
It has.
Yeah.
I know. This is something we should definitely visit because I'm kind of in the same boat. I remember all the flack, but I never personally got burned by it. So
yeah, people seem to really enjoy it on Switch too. So whether we play it there or somewhere else, it seems like it is in a good state right now. Going back to Best Action Adventure Game, Hollow Knight Silksong. Best Sim/Strategy Game, Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. Best Racing and Sports Game, Mario Kart World. And then, not on Switch, but I have to mention it. Game of the Year, of course, went to Clair Obscur Expedition 33, who also won the Best Independent Game, Best Art Direction, Best Debut Indie Game, Best Score and Music, Best RPG, Best Narrative, and Best Game Direction. So, I don't know about you, but it definitely catches my eye when I see games win these awards that I haven't really looked into.
Yeah.
And obviously, none of these games that we mentioned here are super obscure. No pun intended. But like, I definitely need to play Expedition 33 after this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many awards it took home. Like, that's
freaking
crazy.
I need to read a little bit more on this one.
It's on Game Pass.
Okay, well then I'll definitely check it out. That's easy. The best family game, love Donkey Kong Bonanza. I do.
Yeah.
But like best family game, that just it.
We talked about how weird that nomination was.
Yeah, I just gave it a Google because I'm just sitting over here like, what does it take to be the best family game? And it basically just says amazing accessibility, easy to learn, strong local co-op and multiplayer, safe and fun content, which obviously, high replayability. Okay, great. Positive engagement, teamwork. But like, I'm talking strong local co-op and multiplayer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that I think that kind of game fits this category much better. Like we said when we talked about the nominees, I think Donkey Kong Bonanza is the best game nominated. But when we're talking about that specific category,
right,
and you're looking at Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction, all of those very, very multiplayer heavy. And Donkey Kong technically has multiplayer, but neither of us have played it, right? So
yeah,
that should tell you something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But yeah, nobody watches the Game Awards for the awards anymore. So let's run through some of the announcements. I'll start with Switch relevant stuff, and then maybe we'll talk some the other big non-Nintendo announcements. So, and these are kind of out of order. Leon Kennedy was officially confirmed for Resident Evil Requiem. We talked about that on the last episode and how that was imminent, and we kind of figured it would be here. So we did get to see that. Looks good. We will play as him. I know we were kind of speculating whether or not that was the case. So that's cool. Apparently you find this one funny. Lenny Kravitz will star as the villain Bama in 007 First Light. He came out on stage dressed as his character. That was cool. No wardrobe malfunctions for Lenny. That was nice. Mega Man Dual Override coming in 2027. I'm kind of stoked for this. I think this is cool. I'm stoked for this. I believe this is going to be in the RE engine, which not that a Mega Man game needs to, but I mean, those games look really good and play really well. So that'll be nice. South of Midnight won the Games for Impact Award, and during their acceptance speech, they confirmed that it is coming to Switch 2 and PS5 in the spring. Pragmata, also from Capcom, is coming to Switch 2 when it releases everywhere else on April 24th, 2026. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight coming March 26th of 2026. I'm really excited for that. I cannot wait for this Lego Batman. Phasmophobia is coming to Switch too. Have you ever played that one?
I have.
You seem like a Phasmophobia guy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's coming to Switch.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's not my favorite, but I get it. I get why it appeals to people, and it'll be nice to have it here.
It's the I think the chat ability, like that's going to be the fun part. I think with Definitely. That. Yeah.
We've got Out of Words, a stop motion co-op game coming to Switch 2. An asymmetrical co-op anime game called Orbitals, also coming to Switch 2. A Street Fighter movie teaser trailer, which I have to say was probably my least favorite moment of the show. Not the teaser itself, but having the entire cast on stage and how awkward that was. And then when the winners came up and they couldn't figure out where to stand, and that was a whole thing. There were about 30 people on stage. It was nuts. We got a Super Mario Galaxy movie, extended scene, not really a trailer. It's just that shot we see of Bowser Jr. with Mario and Luigi. It's just more of that. You do see Luigi deliver a pretty cool kick thing, channeling his Captain Falcon. That was cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise, kind of a nothing burger. And then these are just some of the things I found interesting. If you have any that I'm not going to mention here, feel free to chime in. Or, if you're watching or listening, comment and let us know what we missed here. But Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic with returning director Casey Hudson is coming sometime. There was a report maybe 2030, but now he's saying it's going to be earlier than that, so we can hope. Divinity from Baldur's Gate 3 developer Larian Studios was announced. Coven of the Chickenfoot from Last of Us co-director Bruce Straley. Not the kind of game I would have expected from him, but that should be cool. Exodus, starring Matthew McConaughey from Wizards of the Coast. Control Resonant was announced for next year. Gang of the Dragon from Yakuza creator Toshihiro Nagoshi. 2 Tomb Raider games, Legacy of Atlantis, which is a remake of the original game, coming next year, and a brand new game called Tomb Raider Catalyst, coming in 2027. We got Bradley the Badger from Mario & Rabbids director Davide Soliani. Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred expansion is releasing in April. And then Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is coming from Fuse Games and a lot of the Criterion devs. So Burnout, Need for Speed. It kind of looks like a spiritual successor to Episode 1 Racer on the N64, which I have a lot of fun memories of. I don't know if I've heard you talk about that one, but it's a...
Yeah, I've played it now,
sure,
as an adult, but no special memories, but cool, very cool,
Okay. And then... Before we move on from the Game Awards, I received a special request this week. We have not talked about your flute abilities on the podcast, but you are a noted flautist.
I am.
And I was asked by our friend Haley about Flute Guy, about Pedro Eustache, and what you thought of his performance this year. Because he's been around for a while, always kind of making waves at the Game Awards. So what do you think of this year's performance?
I love this guy. I love this guy so much, man. Just the oomph that this guy brings to performance, man, is so fun. And then I think I sent to you the follow-up video where he was, getting very much deserved attention for his performance, and they're going, man, they're talking about how Flute Guy's bag is super deep, and it is, man. He's got 5 or 6 different flutes.
Oh yeah, he just kept pulling out new flutes.
Yeah, and the best part about it is that obviously we can't see the score, we can't see the music, we don't know if it calls for these things. These are clearly his flutes, which is normal in that kind of orchestrated setting. But whether the music calls for it or not, I don't know. I think this guy is just all right, here we go. PVC flute.
Yeah, when I saw the PVC, I kind of lost it. I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. He brings so much energy, plays his ass off.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we need. That's what we like to see at this type of stuff. And clearly, whether or not this man is passionate about video games, he brings the right energy, and I think that's just something that everybody can really love and appreciate. So, loved it. I hope we see more of this guy.
Yeah, I really enjoy the Game of the Year medley every year. Even if I know a game's not going to win, it's nice to have it up there. That's kind of how I felt about Donkey Kong this year. And what I thought I was going to feel about Astrobot last year, and then they won everything. So that was cool. But yeah, so that's kind of it for the Game Awards. Overall, what did you think of the show?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was kind of, like you mentioned, I thought that there was a lot of weird moments, though. Yeah,
I did feel like, pacing's always been an issue, but in recent years it's gotten better. But this felt like a step back.
Yeah, this reminded me, the last time that I felt this way, I think, and I can't remember what this was, if it was a Nintendo Direct or something, when we had that translator who didn't really know what he was doing. Do you remember that?
I do have kind of
the Japanese translator. That, Like, it got super dicey. And I mean, this was definitely not that hardcore, but I don't know, it just kind of felt a little bit awkward. And it's almost like you wonder how much rehearsal went into some of the transitions. Or maybe if something didn't go as planned, like, maybe we would be none the wiser, but it's just, a little weird, but it was okay overall. I think it was interesting the whole way through, which, to be honest with you, I don't always feel that way. So
yeah, it seems like people this year are pretty high on the announcements. I don't want to be a hater, but it's not my favorite year in terms.
No,
I think for me, Mega Man is probably the coolest new thing that was announced.
Yeah.
And I know there's good stuff here. I'm not saying that, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of like strange, like you mentioned, this is unfortunately a Nintendo announcement, but the Control 2.
Yeah.
That was such an underrated game. I really did enjoy Control. I played that. I think it was on Game Pass on a limb. I played that last year at some point. And then I was really happy to see the Tomb Raider stuff. I thought that was awesome too. I mean, there's definitely some cool stuff coming, but I agree with you on the Mega Man piece probably being the most exciting bit of news that we get to report on.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, when we get into next year though,
too many games. There's always too many games.
There's some things happening. I think there's some stirrings. There's some plates shifting.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll have to talk about what we think those plates might be next week. Wink, wink. Story number 2. Monolith Soft releases interview celebrating its work on the Zelda series. Is by Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. Monolith Soft, the acclaimed developer behind the Xenoblade Chronicles series, is also known to have collaborated with Nintendo on a number of first-party games, including Mario Kart World, Splatoon 3, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's also worked closely with Nintendo on the Zelda series, starting with Skyward Sword in 2011. Now the company has released a new interview to celebrate its work on Zelda so far. The interview is only available in Japanese for the time being, but machine translation has at least been able to provide some idea of which subjects were up for discussion. One highlight includes how the team at Monolith felt a degree of anxiety at working on a Nintendo title with Skyward Sword, with both parties gaining more and more confidence with each successful project. With Tears of the Kingdom, Monolith became involved from the early stages of development, with team members from Nintendo visiting the studio frequently to discuss ideas. Needless to say, it's clear that Monolith Soft has become an integral part of Nintendo's development structure. The team will no doubt continue to produce new entries in the Xenoblade Chronicles series going forward, but it'll be interesting to see just how involved it will be in new Zelda titles too. Iwamoto-san specifically states, quote, "I would like Monolith Soft to play a central role as a strong partner in creating the Zelda series from scratch," at the end of the interview. Could we possibly see a Zelda title developed solely by Monolith in the future? Gosh, that's an exciting prospect. So kind of one of the unsung heroes of the 2 most recent Zeldas, but I didn't realize they'd worked on Skyward Sword as well. Monolith, I think, had a big hand in kind of making that Hyrule in Breath of the Wild come to life. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the idea of maybe them tackling their own Zelda at some point?
I'm into it, to be honest. I think I am. And I think there's never been a better time to do that. I think that I don't really even know how to describe, and we don't have to create a rabbit hole out of this, but like the era we're in right now of Zelda, but it's a weird one because we crossed into this new space in 2017. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying we closed it, but like we definitely, wrapped it up, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we wrapped it up. So, I mean, we're headed in this other direction where not only have we experienced a whole new level of gameplay, but like the story as we know it, we don't know where we're going from here. And that's kind of the first time that we felt this way, I think, to be honest. So if there's ever been a time for for change or a risk like that, I'd say probably now is the time. So
yeah, I mean, they definitely helped with that transition to open world. I think it's safe to say. I mean, the Zelda team is always going to be the main Zelda team, right?
Sure.
But do you think Monolith would do something kind of in the style of the last two games we've gotten? Or do you think they would do something kind of leaning more into that RPG lineage, like a Xenoblade, but with kind of the Zelda?
I would certainly hope that they would kind of keep because we can't just have, Xenoblade wearing a Zelda costume. Like, we can't have that.
I think I agree. I don't necessarily want that.
I definitely don't. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of when I'm thinking very glass half full with this, I'm being very kind in a way of saying I think they would respect like the lineage of Zelda.
Yeah.
And respecting that it's like its own thing, to which they could absolutely experiment within that space, but don't make it into something it's not. It's never been an RPG like that. But by all means, let's play with a couple of new things. Let's introduce some new things. I don't know. I mean, I would have to imagine that they would always be, Zelda will always be under the protection of the creative folks at Nintendo, and I'm not super worried in that way, but I would be curious to see what maybe some new eyes have. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it needing to be a hardcore RPG, right? Like they definitely are versatile, working on things like Mario Kart and Splatoon and Animal Crossing. Like, yeah, I think we're probably safe there. But yeah, it'd be cool. It might help the pacing of releases a little bit.
Yeah,
because who knows how long we're gonna have to wait for 3D Zelda.
I know.
Story number 3, Silksong expansion, Hollow Knight refreshed, and more. This is from Team Cherry's blog. Hey everyone, with Hollow Knight Silksong's launch year coming to a close, we wanted to take a moment and share a peek at what we've been working on, what's available now, and what's coming in 2026. But firstly, and most importantly, we wanted to say a huge thank you to all the players who braved Silksong's distant and dangerous lands. That's over 7 million of you who've purchased the game, alongside millions more playing on Xbox Game Pass. It's a truly staggering number of players, more than we could have ever expected, enough to crash all of the storefronts. Watching the community grow, seeing the amazing art, the mods, the unexpected strategies, and the support between players through the game's challenges has been hugely rewarding for us here at home. Your continued enthusiasm remains a massive motivator as we work towards expanding the game even further. That first expansion is already well underway. New areas, bosses, tools, and more. Hornet's adventure continues in our nautically themed expansion, coming free for all players next year. We'll see. We'll keep further details a secret for now, but expect additional info shortly before Hollow Knight Silksong Sea of Sorrow releases. Alongside Silksong's continued development, we haven't forgotten about its sibling, and today we're excited to announce that we've been hard at work on an updated version of Hollow Knight for the Nintendo Switch 2. Hollow Knight Nintendo Switch 2 Edition incorporates all of the updates and enhancements that Silksong received on the platform. High frame rate modes, higher resolutions, and many additional graphical effects. As with Silksong, players who own a copy of Hollow Knight on Nintendo Switch will be able to download the new Nintendo Switch 2 Edition for free when it launches in 2026. And as a final surprise to celebrate Silksong's release, our talented mate Alex from Studio Taito and our friends at Fangamer have prepared an all-new series of mini figurines depicting Hornet, her friends, and her rivals. These stylish little cuties are available for pre-order right now, either individually or as a complete set. That's over on Fangamer if you're looking for that. So, despite launching one of the most critically acclaimed games this year, a very successful game by the sound of it, Team Cherry has not rested, it seems. Tell me, how did your Silksong journey kind of continue after that initial play that we talked about when it came out? Okay.
Yeah. No, it's I've really enjoyed it. Honestly, I've only enjoyed it the more I've learned about its history too. I mean, it was really fascinating to learn about like the origin story for them and how this game came to be. So hearing news like this, even so, like what you said, like they really haven't rested. They really haven't.
They've got a lot going on.
They really have. Because I mean, like the love and care they put into everything they do with these games is so tremendous. So I mean, I'm happy to see that they're keeping it rolling. But I mean, like it's so interesting to compare that type of hard work kind of. And you know what? Actually, now that it's leaving my mouth, that feels so unfair to say because some of these just gigantic companies, there's obviously teams and teams providing love and care, but knowing that this is a smaller team, so how much more love and care has to come from each person, that's kind of what I'm trying to talk about. But
sure.
I'm stoked to see it. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, one of my regrets, I still haven't started Silksong. I need to do that. But one of my regrets was when I was in that original Hollow Knight mode a couple of months ago, is that I didn't go through and try to find everything and collect everything. And knowing that Switch 2 edition is on the way, I mean, that's going to give me reason to check it out whenever that does launch. And then I do plan to play Silksong. So knowing that, hopefully around, probably well after when I finish that game, there'll be some more content. That's cool. And the figurines, they're not for me, but they are very cute. I don't know if you've taken a look, but they're very nice, very detailed. I like that.
Love to see some figurines.
Yeah. And then I want to know what else they're doing that they're keeping under wraps. They have all this that they told us, and they're teasing that there's even more. That's insane. Okay, story number 4. I threw this one in for you, actually. Official Nitro Deck 2 for Nintendo Switch 2 now available for pre-order. This is by Rachel Weber at IGN. After the Game Awards, Jack Gienchard, global brand manager for CRKD, appeared on the IGN post-show for a special segment showing off the Nitro Deck 2 for the new Nintendo Switch 2, which is now available for pre-order. It's designed to let you customize your Nintendo Switch 2 experience, provide greater precision, and make those long gaming sessions more comfortable. Quote, unlike the original Nitro Deck or the Nitro Deck Plus, where the console slid into the deck, the Nitro Deck 2, you have this new retractable locking mechanism where you pop the lock and it expands and retracts. Another main difference, 2, is kind of it's more sculpted and refined, so it feels even more ergonomic in your hands. I mean, you can really feel the difference when it's in your hands. Also, the placement of that right thumbstick. With the original Nitro Deck, you had it either above or below the action buttons. With the Nitro Deck 2, we've offset it a bit, so your thumb kind of rests there more ergonomically for that kind of handheld experience than you would want from a Nitro Deck. They promise that its capacitor-based thumbsticks won't fall prey to magnetic interference and are built to resist wear and tear for precise drift-free gaming. The Nitro Deck 2 is also fully compatible with the original Nintendo Switch and Switch OLED, and thanks to its Bluetooth connection, you can use it for PC and mobile games too. The CRKD companion app will make sure you have control over firmware updates, input tuning, and customization as well. The Nitro Deck 2 is available for pre-order along with the optional Nitro Deck 2 hard shell carry case and 2 styles of D-pad packs right now at CRKD's official website for $99.99 US. Jordan, you suggested the original Nitro Deck for our holiday gift guide recently. Oh, yeah. Is this kind of a must have for you?
Absolutely, it's locked in. Got the pre-order locked in.
Okay.
Yep, have to do that in the case. Don't love that the case is separate. I don't recall the last one being separate, but it was a while ago now, so I'm not positive. But I'm like so certain that the last one shipped in its case. Okay. It's like just part of the deal.
Sure.
So like in this case, $100, which I think some might be like, that's pretty expensive. But I mean, I think the original was somewhere in the 70, 80 ballpark, if I recall.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, the video, if anybody listening is checking this thing out, go on CRKD's website and watch the little video. There's a whole thing with IGN where they kind of walk you through like the differences and what it does, everything that Zach had just described. And it really is a nice looking device. You'll think by looking at the photo that it's very, very bulky, because the first time I saw it, I was like, the thing looks like a Steam Deck,
Yeah.
And I was worried about that. I was like, how heavy is it going to be now? The Switch 2 is pretty light, all things considered.
Sure.
And no, I mean, when you kind of watch the video, you get that like little side profile. You kind of see it moving it around. It's pretty sleek. It looks good. So I'm going to risk the biscuits on it and see how she goes. I'm excited.
That's good to hear. And I think it's cool that they found a way to make it work for the original Switch.
Yeah.
So maybe if you haven't upgraded yet, maybe you want to pick one of these up, and then when you do get your Switch 2, you can just pop that in.
And that's probably why this we waited so long for this. They wanted to do this the right way. I think that's very smart of them to do.
Yeah.
It's like you said, you could lock it in now, make your upgrade, still have your investment. So it's great. Love it.
I don't think I mentioned it in the story. It doesn't look like it's here. Do you have any idea when this will ship to you?
I don't think I do.
Okay. It's just ambiguous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's okay. While we're waiting, let's jump into story number 5. Free demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade out now on Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox. This is from the Square Enix Press Hub. Today, Square Enix released a free demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the expanded edition of 2020's best RPG of the year, Final Fantasy VII Remake on Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox on PC with Xbox Play Anywhere support. Players can carry their save data from the demo over to the full game, which launches on January 22nd, 2026. In the demo, players can experience the game's iconic opening chapter, in which the mercenary Cloud Strife and the underground resistance group Avalanche attempt to destroy a Mako reactor powering the dystopian city of Midgar. In their fight against the shadowy Shinra Electric Power Company, Cloud and his comrades are thrust into a larger conflict that will decide the fate of the planet. Players with demo save data on their console can claim the bonus items, Revival Earrings, and Survival Set in the full game. Players can pre-order the game now to receive exciting bonuses, including, if you buy digitally, the original Final Fantasy VII game, which you get immediately on Xbox, but you do have to wait until the launch date on Switch. I don't know why that is. And if you're pre-ordering the physical edition on Switch, you'll get a Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering booster with 15 randomly assorted cards. So the thing I wanted to save talking about that I've been playing was this demo. Okay. I downloaded this. This came out, the night before we recorded. I downloaded it, played through it. It is very much just the first chapter of the game. Jordan, you got to play this thing.
Okay.
I've mentioned before that I think you would really like this game, but it's kind of dark magic how it runs on the Switch 2.
Really?
It's a 30 FPS, but it's stable. But just it's crazy to see something look that good in this kind of art style. I played about half of it on the TV and about half of it handheld.
Okay.
It is very cool. And I love that Square Enix does the whole, save data transfers, so that you won't have to play that first chapter again. We talked about the Octopath demo. I know you liked what's that game? The Misadventures of Elliot. What's he doing?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I have a mention of that today too. Elliot's Adventure, something, I don't know. Yeah.
But I like that they do that. But yeah, I really just threw this story in because I think this game could very much be your shit. I do.
All right. I love that. I just watched the little trailer real quick. It's pretty sweet. That's pretty nuts.
It is. It's watching it play on, especially handheld. When I took it off the dock, I was like, this is crazy. I did it specifically for the boss battle in the demo, and I was like, I can't believe that this is just smooth and it's running this way and it looks like this. Yeah, it's an incredible game.
All right. I like it.
Yeah. Story number 6. Users are reporting greatly reduced input lag on Zelda Wind Waker for Nintendo Switch Online. This is by Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. Following the latest update for Nintendo Switch Online Gamecube, which added Wario World, users are reporting greatly reduced input lag for The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. According to a post on Reddit from user ChrisCube64, the reduced input lag has now made the game, quote, actually playable. The original post reported lag of around 14 frames, but a follow-up comment noted that the speedrunning community timed the input lag at 6 frames. The update has now reportedly reduced this down to around 4 or 5. Still not perfect, but any improvement is a win. Other users are reporting reduced input lag for other titles on the GameCube app, but it seems the most notable improvement is on the Wind Waker. So I played a little bit of the Wind Waker. I started it on Switch Online, and I did notice there was some lag going on.
I noticed a little bit, but I didn't even complete anything noticeable. I just wanted to run around for a second and kind of see how it felt.
That's what I just did, the outside island stuff, and then
and I was like, I'm out. I don't know.
Been there, done that. But I do remember thinking it had some more lag than like F-Zero did or Soul Calibur. So, I mean, it's nice that they're continuing to work on this stuff. That was the case with the other Nintendo Classic apps before they were renamed to that. But yeah, hopefully they've got some more fixes on the way as we get more games on the GameCube. And then finally, I've got out this week. I have one lonely title for you, and that is the Switch 2 edition of Factorio, which is launching December 22nd. I'm not even going to ask you if anything catches your eye because there's only one thing, and I don't see it being this.
I'm just giving a quick little Google. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something for either of us. I do know it has its audience, but
like as soon as I pulled it up, I was like, I know exactly what this is.
Yeah. So our topic for this week is going to kind of be a riff of one we've done a couple times on the show now, and it's really your topic, so I should let you introduce it. But we are going to be putting this out right around the winter solstice on it, something like that. Right? We're nearby. I don't know, but if you're listening to this, it's winter. So we're gonna talk, and I guess unless it's the future and it's not winter anymore. But yeah, we're gonna talk about winter games as we have fall games and summer games. So why don't you maybe explain what that means? Like what when you ask about fall games, what are you talking about here?
So let's just all right, everybody, let's talk about this a little bit. I feel like everyone kind of knows like deep inside what this means.
Sure.
And I just feel like every season you embrace something, and it doesn't have to be games. In our case, it does. But
yeah,
outside of this, like you embrace, you kind of go through maybe some habits where you like to experience something, and maybe it's a show or maybe it's different kinds of movies. Yeah. I feel like the closest thing that the masses can maybe relate to this is around Halloween. People get really into murder mysteries and things like that, or scary movies because it's Halloween season, you know what I mean? Or like if it's Christmas time, it's Christmas movie time, like, which I love, to be clear. So in our case, I feel like every season I revolve around different types of games. So some of them maybe are like I'll call repeat offenders every year. I like to boot them up. And then there's other things where maybe it's a newcomer and I just really enjoy it because it's a genre that I tend to gravitate towards in that season. So I want to talk about the wintertime, and if there's a kind of game that you kind of gravitate towards because it's wintertime or because of whatever. That's what I want to talk about. I want to hear about it.
Okay. So initially, I was like, okay, what is a winter game to me? And basically, my initial thought was it's the same as a fall game. They are
very
longer games, but then I kind of broke it down a little bit. And I'm like, okay. Well, when we talked about fall games, I talked about wanting kind of these big blockbuster, like longer, usually action adventure games that I can really sink a lot of time into. And then, those games are really great year round. But I talked about Ghost of Yote. I talked about, that kind of stuff. But then the more I thought about what I actually end up playing in the winter months, I kept coming back to examples of it gets nerdy, We're talking RPGs, we're talking RTSs, we're talking games with numbers.
My God, dude, that's you do though.
Yeah, I do, and I got a bunch of examples for you. But then I even kind of thought a little more. Like I also kind of gravitate towards some of the more difficult games that I enjoy. Usually I end up playing, I keep these lists of the games I beat every year and when I do that. And I was looking and I was like, there are some patterns here. There are games, there are Metroidvanias here with tough boss battles. There are some long RPGs here. There's definitely some stuff. So I kind of feel like that is the vibe I go for. There's some cozier stuff in there too. But yeah, I think it tends to be, I am at my most nerdy in the winter months with games.
What do you think? Psychologically, I think that there's something to wanting something more difficult in the wintertime as opposed to summertime or fall. And I think that nerdy kind of can possibly fall into this as well. And I'm curious, before we really split this thing open, I feel like difficulty is like warmth a little bit. Like I feel like you're like, you have the time to spend getting frustrated over this. Summertime, I don't got the time for that shit sometimes. You know, like I want to play stuff that's kind of light and bouncy, you know, but in the wintertime, getting something that's a little bit more difficult takes a little bit more thinking. I think that there's something there. And then as far as nerdy goes, I mean, we're fucking nerds all year, but when it comes to wintertime, it's like you're cozied up, you're in your house. It's almost like you're protected by the cold. You're like, nothing can get me. I can be nerdy.
Kind of, right? Like I do. I think you nailed it with the time thing. Like there is something about, you know, it's the afternoon on a Saturday or Sunday and you're watching the snow come down and you're like, I'm not going anywhere.
Fuck no, I'm not driving.
Right. And, you know, I definitely buy a lot of games that I don't end up playing. But I notice that in the winter months, I'm buying RPGs. I'm buying JRPGs. Last year I bought the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I bought all 6. I played one of them, the original one. You know, it's stuff like that. And I need to get back to that. But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I definitely feel like I'm in that mindset where I'm like, I got time to, you know, to play a JRPG, which I don't always feel like I do. So are you kind of in the same boat? Like, or do you find that maybe your tastes are a little different in the winter?
In the wintertime, so I honestly, like you, I had to go back. I don't know if you did this specifically, but I had to go back in the podcast to see what I listed as my fall games, because fall and winter to me are also very similar.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure there was one specific thing that I didn't mention, and my hunch was that I didn't, and I was right. So I was like, okay, good. I know myself still.
Okay.
But no, I'm kind of the same way. I feel like I am way more willing to try something new in the wintertime. And I think that is where the difficulty thing falls in. I'm not saying necessarily difficult, but like, I don't understand it because it's new. You know what I mean? Okay, so it's more difficult than if I was familiar with it. So I'm more apt to try something new, which for me this year is probably, oh shoot. Well, I just told you my first one.
Okay.
Whatever. Let's just dive in. Sure. Octopath Traveler 0. That's my first one.
Yeah.
Because like you, I guess now in my age, I buy RPGs now, I guess. That's a thing that I explore. And now I talked about RPGs in the fall a little bit, but the fall tends to be more of a familiar RPG situation for me. That's when the Pokemons come in and the things I know really well.
Yeah.
The comfortable ones.
Yeah.
I feel like that's almost like the insecurity of fall, the change, the dying. You're like, give me Pokemon in comfort. Yeah. You know? Yep. But in the wintertime, I'm like, give me something brand new, baby. Let's go. And this year it's Octopath Traveler 0, which I love and is very warm. And I wish it was on the Switch 2 the way that it's on everything else, but that's fine. But yeah.
It was on Switch 2. There's a Switch 2 version.
I know. It's just...
I guess I don't know how it performs on the Switch. I can't.
It performs just fine. It's just that it doesn't look nearly as crisp. And maybe I won't notice that, but like my brain knows that it's more crisp elsewhere.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'll think I see it.
Okay.
But I know that was a long tangent. The other area of this that I want to mention before we get into it is because it's kind of a theme, but I do play a lot of N64 every winter, and I don't know why that is.
You've probably been doing it on Christmas Day since you were a little kid.
And I'm very nostalgic with my gaming, so that's probably a lot of it. And there's a couple of those on here, but it has nothing to do with the analog 3D. Also, it's just something I do every year. This year I get to do it easier.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that thing was supposed to be here much earlier in the year. Yeah, it just happened to be now.
Did you end up doing the colored one?
No. I got it in my cart, and then I was like, no.
Dude, I will say, like, I really do love Analog's products, but like, fuck those guys for, you know, like the colored ones come out. I should have known that they were going to do this. They've done this a million times, but like, I would have rather had the see-through clear or see-through green one, like my N64.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like I wish they would have given us the opportunity to be like, hey, original people, you could trade yours for a see-through colored one and still get it at the time if you'd like. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm a little mad about that, but whatever.
Yeah, I imagine there was probably supposed to be a much bigger gap between you getting your console and these coming out, because people already have them. I've seen people post on Reddit, like they are in people's
I've seen
home.
them. Yeah, they're so sweet, and they're like, and then Analog's like, "Don't worry, guys, you'll have them before Christmas." I was like, "For real?"
Yeah, I know. I read that. I was like, "There is no way." But no, I didn't end up pulling the trigger on it. I don't know. I'll probably regret it down the road, but I was like, I don't need that right
now. I hate to keep dragging this out, but the Mega Mod Retro,
yeah,
announced an N64 that's coming out next year now.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
okay, well, there's options.
I don't know about your feelings on Mod Retro. It's kind of a weird company, but
I'm not familiar with any of their work, but
we'll save that for a future episode.
Sure. Okay, we can do that. So it's funny that you brought up Octopath Traveler 0, because I would love to play that game right now. Again, it's exactly what I'm talking about. And you kind of mentioned this warmth that certain games bring, and I feel like that art style, that HD 2D that you are a slut for, really does have a warmth to it.
It does.
And I saw that my local library had a copy that was not picked up, and I thought I should pick this up. But I've got other things I want to play right now. So I let some other soul pick that up, and I mean, I'll buy that one. I have no problem doing that, because it's apparently like a 70-hour game. So I'll probably want to keep it around. But I do have that demo, and I need to play that demo. And hopefully that'll be something early next year I can, sink some time into.
I feel like early next year, though, I'm going to be into Elliot's Adventure or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta get into it before Resident Evil, I think.
Yeah.
Or else it will probably pass. If I don't get it by the end of February, we're done.
Dude, I will be cold dropping everything to play Resident Evil.
Yeah. So that's a good one. It's funny. So I have listed here that a couple winters ago now, it must have just been last year. I played through the original Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, all within like a 2-month span. In the early part of 2024, and I loved it. I mean, that was a great experience. Some great RPGs, all kind of the same Final Fantasy universe, same vibe, but that I don't know. There is something to, like, I can't imagine starting, especially the old Final Fantasy VII. I can't imagine just like popping that in the summer and doing that.
Yeah, right.
I don't have nostalgia for it like a lot of people do, but I think that the fact that I started it in January when there wasn't a ton going on, not a ton of games coming out, I think that really contributed to me actually finishing it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
and then the 2 remakes I think are incredible for what they are. I love them. So yeah, that is kind of the vibe there. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was another one, an early Switch game that came out, I think, like on my birthday that year. So I just kind of picked it up on a whim, and it's late November and December, and I probably played more of that than I have any of the other Xenoblade games.
Yeah.
I think it just that kind of vibe works for me this time of year.
It does, and I feel like there's got to be something to that too, because you do notice those types of games tend to come out the tail end of the year, and there's probably a lot to do with holiday season and hype around this type of year too. Like, I mean, you got a lot of gift giving and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it is nice to release something at this time. But I also just feel like for the average consumer or people who are going to buy something themselves, there's got to be some kind of like formula, some kind of recipe that calls for this type of game this time of year. And Final Fantasy, when you talk about something like that too, like, I mean, there's a lot of deep love for Final Fantasy. It's got a huge fan base. And personally, I've really appreciated Final Fantasy, some of the earlier entries, and even on like, the PlayStation early on. But I've been looking for a way back. So this would be kind of a cool place for me to get back into that. So
yeah, I mean, I have listed of games I'm looking to play this winter. Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch is on there. So
yeah.
What do you plan on playing this winter?
Honestly, I'm kind of trying to figure that out. I feel like Octopath is going to take a lot of my time, but like end of year, I'm so undecided like where I want to spend my time because we have such like a strange lineup of things right now. And and much like yourself, I try to like kind of blanket my time out in a smart way so that when something new comes out, I'm kind of available for it. And right now I'm kind of in a weird spot where I'm doing so much revisiting, especially with the, like we mentioned, the Analog 3D coming out. I'm doing a lot more revisiting than usual because of stuff like that. And I think that's kind of my plan. I think I want to be a little more, I think I'm probably going to be a little bit more loose end of this year. And when it comes to other things I think about for winter games, I do tend to gravitate towards handheld.
Yeah, I think I probably do too. Obviously that's easier now than it was in years past with the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck and all the other kind of handheld PCs. But yeah, I get that.
Part of the reason, though, I honestly think is because unlike fall, because we talked about handheld in the fall too, because like we said, very similar time. And I think much like the fall where I'm looking personally to be like out in a hammock, I'm out and about, I'm on my bike, I'm doing my thing. So like, that's why I like to have the handheld. In the wintertime, it's more like, I want to be kind of cozied up on the couch, hanging out with Amanda, but maybe playing something, or I'm visiting with family and like I'm hanging out with my nephews and we're all just kind of playing games, hanging out, and it's like, you're just doing a little bit more traveling and you're inside because of the weather. I think it's just a different, circumstance, but like still seeking out that handheld escape kind of situation. So I feel like that's going to kind of be where I go outside of the list I already have. It's going to be like RPG, a little bit of N64, and then some in that little handheld space. Quick stuff, like you said.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that it's going to be kind of loose, right? That you're going to kind of play it by ear. I feel like at least my next couple of weeks are going to be very regimented. I want to play both Expedition 33, like we mentioned earlier, and Silksong this winter. I think I know which one I want to do first. I'm going to have some time here soon, but I'm not sure yet. So I have those. And then after that, it is kind of a little more freeform. But I did put on the list here, I think I want to play some Fire Emblem. We've got a new one coming out next year. I haven't played one in a long time, and I think, and I don't know if I will do Three Houses or if I'll do an older one, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to try to get back into the Fire Emblem swing of things.
That's fair. I mean, we've talked about, because I feel like you and I not being so into Fire Emblem, every time that they would just dominate any kind of award or announcements or awards, we're like, okay, for sure. Yeah.
And I want to be able to be part of that conversation when it comes out. So it's like, there's some different entry points, both on Switch and off of it. So
yeah. I mean, that to me, that feels like an intimidating space to find my way into. Where do you think your entry point is going to be? Like,
I kind of think I want to do, I want to take on America's entry point to the series and do that first Game Boy Advance one, the one that brought the series over here. Following Super Smash Brothers. I think that's maybe the play. Obviously, that worked in a way that they kept coming out here. So yeah, maybe that's the one.
All right.
So it'll be that, or it will be the most recent one. It'll be Three Houses.
Okay.
One of those two, but I'm kind of leaning GBA.
Have you done any research in like the order in which that you should play them?
I don't think so. I mean, they're interconnected, but like they take place, all over the timeline and things like that. So I think I can kind of jump in wherever. And I mean, I've played some of them. I've played the GameCube and Wii ones. I've played Awakening on the 3DS. Like, you know, so I'm already kind of all over the map.
Okay.
Yeah. But so what else you got?
Well, so these are in no particular order. I feel like that's worth calling out too. The next one I'm going to bring up is actually it's not a Nintendo game.
Sure.
But it's a series. I don't know why this one, because I don't have any kind of history with this time of year, but I visit it this time of year, but I don't know why. It just happens. But I always play through the Last of Us games.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like every winter. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because it's a very good story. So when I'm closing the year out, and to be honest with you too, my loose schedule at the end of the year, I think this might kind of just be how I am every year at the end of the year. Okay. I don't think I'm ever really like just waist deep in any games. I feel like I'm always kind of just, you know, wallowing around waiting for that next thing, because I remember last year, oh God, I'm losing time. Maybe it wasn't. I do feel like every winter I'm looking for something to kind of take me back to summertime. I'm like, what am I going to do till it's nice outside? Like, what's going to get me through wintertime? And I remember one year that was Hogwarts Legacy. I remember one year that was Resident Evil 4, get me through the remake of 4. And I just always am looking for that one thing. So when I think when I'm trying to fill that gap, The Last of Us kind of does, if there's not like a new entry or something for me to dive into.
Sure. I wonder if this is subconscious or not, but Last of Us, of course, has a very notable winter section.
It does.
You know, one of the better ones in video games, I would say. So
yeah,
that's always cool. I know, like I won't, you know, I wouldn't put a game on my list just for that, but like Spider-Man Miles Morales takes place in the winter, which is kind of a nice little contrast to the other two Sony Spider-Man games. So
yeah, you
know, that's kind of just a fun vibe, and the story and characters, models, and things like that kind of all reflect that. So that's kind of fun. I really didn't even think about like winter themed levels and things.
Yeah, no, I really didn't either. Well, actually, no, I did. That's a lie. I did in a couple of ways, but
yeah, I'm not a ice mechanic guy. I don't like slipping on ice in games.
No, honestly, too, I tend to not like winter levels in most games. There's just, but dude, if you throw Christmas in, if there's a dollop of Christmas in there, fuck, you got me. You sign me up. You know what I mean? But like, if you're just going for winter, I'm like, you want cold, sad, and depressing and gray. But if they're like, we're doing it for Christmas, I'm like, all right, for sure.
Isn't it crazy that Mario 64 has 2 winter levels?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, no, for like, absolutely, dude. Like, that is pretty bonkers to do. It's not like, did they really nail it with the other types of levels with 2 of them? I feel like they're all super weird, but they
and I mean, there's not, how many are there? There's 16 worlds in Mario 64, and 2 of them are the same theme.
The same theme, and also a lot of, are they the same music too?
I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Oh my God, there's 3. There's 3 winter levels.
Well, I think, is that the slide that you
there's
just
the
did?
Slide. There's Penguin Slide.
Yeah. And then there's one with Big Snowman.
And then there's the one where there's like the ice block thing that you go inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the Big Snowman one.
That's the Big Snowman one.
Yeah.
Yep. And you climb up top and you blow off the very similar to Freeze Easy Peak, but
yeah.
And then isn't there another one?
I don't know.
Okay. Might just be 2.
Yeah. You might be conflating it with that banjo level that you mentioned.
Yeah. But man, oh man, 2 winter levels. That's a wild move to pull. I don't know. I mean, hey, they could have done a little bit more Christmas there, but hey, that's fine. Whatever.
It's it's global. They gotta mix it up. I'm gonna kind of dive into, I think, some of the tougher games I've tackled in the winter months. I mentioned wanting to play Hollow Knight. I think it's going to very much fill that void for me this year. But the two I wrote down, this was just last winter, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, one of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played. And then Tunic, which I think was maybe the year before, 2023. Maybe earlier than that. I don't recall. But both very that kind of bang your head against the wall until you can figure it out difficulty. Do you find, is it like a patience thing, or is it like time, like we said? Like I don't know.
I think I have more patience for sure in the wintertime because like we said, you just in the winter, I feel like at some points I feel like I have all the patience in the world because I don't have anything else to be doing unless it's grocery shopping or you know what I mean? Like if my day's full and I've got everything taken care of, man, I have nowhere else to be. So, and you know, I'm not feeling bad about not being outside or going anywhere or doing whatever. I have the time to care about setbacks and things like that, you know?
Okay. One that I tried out this year, and a sequel is out there that I need to now get to, is Citizen Sleeper, which is kind of like an interactive novel. Like it's all text based. You move around kind of this map, and there's different choices you make, and there's a lot of different outcomes and endings and things like that. It's not like a chill vibe, but it is kind of that like I said, like you kind of get pretty deep into it, and you're making choices and kind of character building that way. You can have radically different outcomes based on the choices you make and who you decide to work with and befriend and all that stuff. So I know both of those are on Switch. I believe both of them are on Game Pass. And like I said, that second one came out earlier this year. That's another one I would like to finish before the end of the year, but I don't know if that'll happen.
Okay, and that's one of your winter games?
Yeah, it was one this past winter that I played on the Xbox.
Okay. Yeah, I'm checking this thing out. This is very cyberpunk, very Matrix, Animatrix. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
It's a lot of reading, but it is, I mean, the stuff's engaging. Like the writing's very good.
I think that's such a fun style of game that you don't see a whole lot of, though.
Yeah.
And I know it's not for everybody, but like maybe that's kind of what incorporates it into that more winter feeling for you, because there is something comforting about reading something and creating something for yourself, because reading something, not just dialogue, but reading something that is informative, in like a game sense, I feel like you're experiencing it in such a different way where it's it's just the experience that it's giving you is much different than it would be for dialogue. So I don't know. That's cool. I like that. It's kind of like, like Detroit Become Human. That'd be one of my games.
Yeah. So it's funny. You saying that actually kind of, made me go down that road. You're right.
Yeah. And like, I don't necessarily care for what would you say? Those were the
like the Telltale kind of adventure style. Okay.
I don't necessarily care for games like that all too much. I think some of them are pretty fun. There was that horror camp, the summer camp one, that was pretty cool, but I wasn't very into it.
Okay.
But Detroit Become Human was so interesting because obviously we're from Metro Detroit, so that's fun for us.
Yeah.
And then additionally, it wasn't so much of the like Telltale style where like you still got to explore those small parts of these areas that you're kind of released in, the little sandbox, and you have to kind of do some investigative work too. So like you're doing detective work, you're kind of investigating crime scenes. Sometimes you're reenacting what you think might have happened at the crime scene.
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of different mechanics that kind of come into play, and it's very fun. And then the amount of outcomes you can have, and it kind of shows you the result of like, you can see like the tree split off. So you're like, okay, so 3 other things could have taken place here. What was that? And it just introduces this other level of thought into the gameplay where you're like, what could have happened? Or like you kill somebody and you're like, right. I did not mean for that to happen.
You're right, yeah.
And like, so the whole game, you're kind of proceeding with this level of caution. And that is the interesting part is the choices, not the gameplay and the choices you make in dialogue and like how you decide to proceed. Like, and I think that that style of thought and caution, like I said, it just makes such a great winter game because you can kind of cozy up, and it's almost like a little book, an interactive book that you get to play through.
Definitely. I do like some of those Telltale games from, the 2010s. I like the first 2 Walking Dead games. I like The Wolf Among Us, which I'm pretty sure I played around this time of year originally. And a lot of those devs now, have Dispatch out, which is reviewed very well. It's got Aaron Paul and other stars in it, and it's coming to Switch. I just saw it today. I don't even want to say the day because I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to say it, January 22nd. If I'm wrong, don't buy it then. Buy it a different day. But that's cool. That's one I do want to check out. But what I'm noticing for both of us here, you hit the nail on the head. There is something about choice.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's how we are, choosing to level our characters in these RPGs, whether, we're picking outcomes in these kind of narrative games. I wonder what that is. Do we just feel out of control in the winter month? We live in Michigan, so I mean the weather's crazy and there's a lot going on, but
could be. It's wild, man. I mean, this is a deep cut.
All right, deep cut.
I feel like when you think back to like elementary school.
Okay.
We were there together.
We were.
In the wintertime, Christmas, I guess not necessarily Christmas time, but wintertime, obviously I feel like everything kind of slows down. And it's like our whole lives, everything just kind of takes has these trends in different times of the year. And like you have your reading time in elementary school and you sit on the floor and things kind of, as you get closer and closer to Christmas, people are pretty happy, so you're like these like feelings kind of get forced upon you every Christmas because everyone's feeling just that holiday spirit and you start to hear the songs. And so it's like you're trained kind of that as winter starts to set in, at least at the beginning, up until Christmas, you're feeling this type of way and you get the story times and there's all these books and like stuff happens at school. I feel like you're almost like conditioned growing up to like kind of have these things and like reading, obviously in school is pretty huge, but like, especially when you're at your most impressionable as a smaller child, I feel like because I think at least we are being read to more in those times of year to keep us engaged in a different way, possibly. So we're almost like wired to kind of be provoked in that way. And I wonder if maybe we just carried that through adulthood, and whether it's games or different types of documentaries, I wonder if people are really into because they want to be thinking, they want to think about it, Right. I'm wondering if that's why we as people kind of gravitate towards that type of media this time of year. I don't know. It's interesting.
It is. I think it's interesting that, we kind of had some of the similar ideas, more so I think than the other 2 seasons we've done about the kinds of games we like this time of year. And I think that's a very wholesome way to look at it.
Yeah.
I also think that pre-holidays is exciting and post-holidays sucks in the winter. So it's just desolate and gross and awful, and maybe I just want to get away from that and play some games.
We should do a post-holiday depression game list.
Sure, your most depressing games. That's a topic for another day. Do you have any other winter games to discuss?
Some honorable mentions. So Wind Waker is actually one of mine.
Okay.
And because Wind Waker you put as a summer game.
I think I did.
I think you did. Because I remember,
fall, but I don't recall. But
might have been fall. I went back to make sure. This is what I went back to check because Twilight Princess for me is a fall game.
Sure.
And I think it's because of the tones.
Yeah,
but Wind Waker, obviously not because of the tones.
No, very different.
But because, so the first playthrough for me ever, I remember taking place during a very large power outage in the wintertime back in the day. And my parents my dad used to work maintenance at the complex that I used to live in.
Oh, okay.
Before I was born, he was maintenance. Yeah. So the whole time I've been alive, he never was, but he knew all the people. So we were like connected with these people. And when the power would go out, they would relocate us from our townhouse into a unit that had power.
Okay, cool.
If they had any.
Yeah.
So like a couple of times we'd go to these apartments in where we had lived in the Hamptons, and not, because it's this like empty apartment. So we'd bring like sleeping bags and a TV. My dad would bring a couple of TVs and like DVD players because we don't have internet, Yeah.
Those were big TVs back then too.
What's that?
Those were big TVs. Bruce was really putting in the work.
They weren't like huge. I mean, they were like
they were heavy. They were
heavy.
They're not TVs now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Big Bruce was putting in the work for us, that's for sure. But like they let me bring my GameCube. So like I'd come home from school and play GameCube in the corner of this living room that I was sleeping in.
That wasn't yours. Yeah.
And like that was a core memory for me. And I remember Chris's family, our friend Chris, because of our connection, they got to have their own also apartment. Cool. And he would come over and we'd just like sit in the living room and play Wind Waker.
Sure.
And like my parents would be like watching The Lost City of Atlantis, that like Disney movie over in the other corner. And we're like, what a weird thing we're all doing.
Yeah. It is, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, I get it. You don't want to be in a cold apartment,
I mean, it was like, it's just so funny, dude. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so crazy winter memory, but Wind Waker. And then I told you N64, so I had a couple N64 titles. Did you have anything else on your list?
Just a couple cozy games that I played earlier in the year. Thank Goodness You're Here, which I did play on Switch. Very funny, very British little game. You could finish it in an afternoon. And then Little Gator Game, which is getting a big expansion this coming year, pretty soon. I played that just kind of on a whim earlier in the year, and I really liked that game.
You did tell me. I remember doing the same Google and seeing this. This looks pretty cool, actually.
And I think I brought that game up, for fall. I think I think we brought up both Tunic and Little Gator Game on that show. But I think they fit this vibe in different ways for different reasons. I really like Little Gator Game. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but it was great.
Is that on the Switch?
It is, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. I might actually check that out. Was the gameplay actually like pretty engaging? Like was it pretty was it difficult, and did I have to make choices?
No, it's not difficult. You really don't have to make choices. It is more about the exploration of the island. And there are some things that might challenge you on a gameplay level, but that's not really the point. It's about finding stuff, and the writing's very humorous, and I don't know, it's just pretty wholesome.
I'll probably check it out. It strikes me as a game that's probably not going to cost me more than $20. So
no, I think even full price, it's maybe $15. It might be $20, but it's regularly on sale. And
okay. The other time, I'll just say them pretty quick because we got through my main stuff, but like Banjo-Kazooie, Freeze Easy Peak, like we mentioned earlier. I really get a kick out of playing those old games and like hitting the Christmas levels, but above everything, and I know I've said this to you before off podcast, like just for funsies, because I think about this every year, but Diddy Kong Racing, Frosty Village. Right. Dude, Frosty Village is so hype. It is peak Christmas video game situation. Like, I feel so jolly. I remember getting up and playing through that at my grandma's house, and I'm like, this is peak holiday excitement right here, you guys.
Right. Oh, man. Rare did such a good job of designing their worlds and levels back then. I mean, they still do, but they would pick a vibe like that and they would just absolutely nail it.
Dude,
the music was great. The look was great. It was colorful. It was,
it's just great. And like, you imagine them, like the joke on Instagram where you'd see, they're like, we need the 007 pause music, but don't go too crazy. And we're talking about like the fucking Christmas music and Frosty Village. They're just going nuts on this like synthetic keyboard from early 2000s.
Right.
It's like, they're just fucking ripping it. Oh man, it's saucy and I love it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably going to wrap up our winter games discussion. We peeling back the curtain, we're gonna pre-record next week's because that'll be Christmas time. So we're gonna go work on that. But I would love to hear from each and every one of you. That's my Christmas wish. In the comment section, telling us what games you are gonna play this winter section or this winter season. Maybe games you revisit in the winter. But until then, I've been Zachary Davis. That's Jerome Carlson. And we'll see you next time on Podcasting with Power. Bye-bye.
Bye. When do I say Merry Christmas?